Well, Steve, obviously, about a week till you guys leave. How are you feeling about your group?
We got a ways to go. Thank God we got another week. Just trying to still polish a lot of the little things and try to get some of those guys that have played many snaps here ready to go play, especially on the road. I think that's a big difference.
What positive things have you kind of seen from the group so far in fall camp?
Well, the guys that I really expected to do well, Sam McCaskill, David Moa, Elliot Hoyt, those guys are really playing well, I think. It's one step at a time for those guys that are behind them, just because, again, they haven't played a lot of snaps here. But you look at Durant Miles, Louis, and then we've still got a toss-up over behind Elliott if it's going to be Austin Silsby or it's going to be Daniel. But we got some good competition going. Somebody's got to step up to that next level so there's not a big drop-off when those other guys come out of the game.
How many are you hoping to be able to play in the first game?
I hope to have at least 10 ready. That's counting all 4 positions across the front. We would love to play 10, 11, 12. If possible, we'll carry 12. And just really, we're going to carry them, and depends on where they're at and how the game is going, obviously, if we can get them all in there.
How important is it going to be to rotate? You've been down there in the South. You know it can be hot and humid. How much does that take out of somebody as compared to, say, if you're playing here and the temperature's 80 and not humid?
Well, I think it just is, obviously it's what you're used to an extent, but I think we'll be fine. We've done a lot of things to try to get them ready for it. It's not going to make me rotate my guys any different. The biggest thing to me is if those guys are really ready to rotate and play. Obviously, we'll have to play some of them. How much they play will depend on how well they progress between now and next Friday or Saturday.
It sounds like Chase Hatat is a guy that's you're talking to Coach Harsin, has put himself in a position to possibly play.
Yeah, I think he's really come along well. There's obviously still a lot of things that he has to do better at, but I think he is. Especially we're looking at Chase right now in pass rush situations. He's got great quickness. He's still got a lot to work on as far as his run game, taking on blocks and getting off blocks and playing. But he's one of those guys that play. He's got a big time motor now. He plays hard when he's on the field. He's getting after people. So, sometimes that will make up for not knowing exactly what to do or not doing it correctly.
Sounds like Fasili, too, is another guy. Who else is in the mix here in terms of those true freshmen?
Well, Emmanuel really, obviously we're needed nose guard.
Mm-hmm.
We got Louis and we got David right now with Emmanuel coming on behind those. Emmanuel's a big body, and he's exactly what we need at nose. He, too, he's got a lot to learn, but he is very athletic. He's got fantastic feet for a 318-pound guy. So, we just got to keep bringing those two along, and then we'll still bring along Curtis Weaver. He's doing some good things. And really all of the guys are. You look out there at Coyote and Jabari, too. Those guys are all doing things. Those first 2 we talked about, it seemed to be a little further along as for scheme and technique. So those are the 2 that we're really focusing on right now. That doesn't mean that those other guys won't play. Obviously, anybody could get hurt in one snap, and that's going to throw another 2 or 3 guys in there.
So going in, I guess, to the first game, those 2 are kind of the 2 you're looking at probably?
Those are the 2 that we're looking at the most going into the first ball game, plus Curtis Weaver's got a good shot to play some, too.
Okay. That's Louis and Atata.
Well, Louis definitely playing.
Right.
No, I was talking about Chase Hatat. Yeah,
but Louis is a freshman. But Louis is a freshman too.
Louis is a freshman also. Yeah, I forget. But it's just like the other day. He and I was talking. Then it dawns on you. He just got here last January, and so it's different than I think it is sometimes. I think he should be further along than he is.
So with Weaver, then that's 4. I mean, are those the 4 you probably travel, or some?
Yeah, if you're counting Louis, yes.
Yeah,
okay. That's kind of what we're looking at this point in time. Like I said, anything can change between now and then.
At the stud, Harsin was kind of mentioning, Gabe's missed a couple practices here and there, so that Sam Whitney's kind of stepped in. How is that position looking?
Sam is really playing well, I think. You got Jabril, you got Sam, you got Gabe, and then that's where Curtis is playing also. So you got 4 really good athletes over there that are playmakers too, and that's really an exciting position for us right now. We obviously have a little more depth there with Gabe back and with Jabril, and then by moving Sam over there, that helps us. But that's a position that you need to be able to play guys.
Sam was saying it wasn't until like a week before fall camp that you guys moved him to stud.
Yeah, and we were trying to figure out exactly what to do with all those bodies and where the freshmen would fit in, and we felt like that's where we needed him at this point in time.
With that, you mentioned getting ready for this weather. It's something you've coached in, you've played in, and stuff like that. And how much is that helping to get the guys ready?
Well, I don't think it's our guys right now are just trying to get ready. When we show up down there, hopefully it won't bother them. We're going down there to play a game. We're going to play one snap at a time, and we'll see what happens at the end.
A lot of people asking about missing some of the pass rush, with Kamale gone and stuff like that. But also, you guys were really good against the run last year too, and you mentioned some of those guys needed to step up in that aspect. How good are you feeling about that, or what kind of
Well, that
strides
is
have you
our
made?
number one focus, is stop the run. If we can stop the run and make a team one-dimensional, that gives us a shot. For me to tell you right now we can line up and stop them, I'm not going to be able to do that, because we do not have the depth, we do not have the size that we had up front. So we're definitely going to have to do some really good things technique-wise up front.
I know coming into camp, you said you felt really good about the group. You were excited. Have you just not seen what you thought you'd see or wanted to see, or you don't seem quite as optimistic?
Well,
maybe as
I
early
think
on?
the biggest thing is I haven't been able to get those freshmen where I wanted them. I think they're very athletic. I think they have a chance to be good players. They're not all where I want them at this point in time. And it's still 9 days or whatever till we play, so we got a chance. And if we can get 10 to 15 snaps out of those guys, that's going to make a huge difference at the end of the ball game.
But with Curtis, did you guys bring him in expecting him to be a stud, or he's
No,
his
we
si-
didn't.
his
Not
size
really.
looks different for us.
He's big, but he is very athletic, and we needed some depth over there, so that's where we got him right now.
What are you expecting out of Louisiana? What do you expect their strengths to be? First games are sometimes hard to tell, but based on what you saw last year in film.
Well, if you look they scored a lot of points last year, which I know their record wasn't that good, but they scored a lot of points. Obviously, they got a great running back coming back. I think you look at the quarterback that transferred from LSU. He's very mobile. He started for LSU 2 years ago, so he's going to extend plays on you. And their forte is to line up and run the football, and they're really good at that. So that's something, just what we were talking about. That's what we have to be able to do up front, is stop the run.
Do you have a guy that the running back looks like that maybe somebody would know?
He looks a lot, to be honest with you, just like J-Mac. Built just like him. He is a 4th or 5th year senior. I'm not sure if he was redshirted or not, but I know he is a senior this year. I think he actually played against us here a few years ago. Yeah. So, he's that type of guy, built like that. And they have a stable full of them. So we're going to have to really play well up front.